As Oscar Pistorius' trial in the North Gauteng High Court unfolds, issues of guns and gun safety have been brought up. We're joined in studio by Eddy Pretorius of City Guns in Cape Town to discuss gun competency and South African gun laws. Thank you for joining us, Eddy.
It's a pleasure.
Now, let's get straight into it by discussing what a South African gun owner needs to go through before he is given a gun.
Just like if you were wanting to drive a motor vehicle, you've got to go through a learner's license first and then a driver's license. So you've got to do the same with buying a firearm and having it licensed to you. The first is your proficiency, which is to use and handle a firearm. And from that, you go and apply for competency, which includes the background checks and the fingerprint checks that the police do. Those two sections are married together, and once the police are comfortable that you are fit and proper, they will then issue you a competency certificate, which is in effect a driver's license for the gun, which says you know how to handle and use the firearm and you understand the law.
Now, in court, Oscar Pistorius' gun competency test was read out for everybody to hear, and he was asked very specific questions about when and when not he could fire a firearm.
Yeah.
Is that standard?
That's standard.
So what type of questions would be asked?
They normally give you some examples or questions, and they say, in a case, if the person is stealing your TV set and going out the door, could you shoot that person? The answer there would be no, he hasn't threatened your life in any way, no problem. They also often refer to Judge Krichler's determination on when you can and can't use the firearm, which is quite specific, and it says when your life is in danger or someone else's life is in danger. There is another little piece that goes with that. If you are going to effect an arrest and there's no other means, but it has to be in an extremely serious case.
Now, what the state has to prove is that a reasonable South African gun user wouldn't have acted in the way Oscar Pistorius did. So would a reasonable South African gun user be allowed to shoot through a closed door if he had heard a sound on the other side of it?
Generally speaking, not. Okay, I think when it comes to arguing a point like that, I think it depends who's involved, and I think that we leave up to the lawyers and to the courts to decide whether they did right or not. But according to the Act and according to what we teach, the answer is no.
And Oscar Pistorius, having completed his gun competency test and passed it, would obviously have known the same.
Well, I think that was proved in the court, wasn't it?
Yes, yes it was. Now, relating to the incident at Tasha's restaurant in Johannesburg, where Oscar Pistorius says he accidentally discharged a firearm, the words muzzle conscious was brought up a lot in court. What does that mean?
That you've got to be conscious of where your muzzle is pointing at all times. One of the first rules that we teach each other is always teach our students is that the muzzle is always kept pointed downrange or in a safe direction. And we use the term always because that's what it must be, always pointed in a safe direction. That way, should anything go wrong, nobody's going to be hurt. No property is going to be destroyed, please God. But that way, the gun is safe, the people behind the gun are safe, and if something does go wrong, there's not going to be bloodshed or anything like that. We treat a gun as if it's loaded at all times. That is the rule. That's one of the golden rules. And it's, again, always. You always treat a firearm as if it's loaded. That's one of the basic rules that one follows. That, don't point the firearm at anything that you're not prepared to see killed or destroyed. Keep your finger off the trigger until you've identified your target and you are ready to shoot.